What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with playoff reactions again. We're going to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks taking down the Brooklyn Nets. I said that the Bucks should be able to win game 6. I said the Bucks are the better team. They should be able to win game 7, and they got it done against the handicap, beat up, toe up Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets gave it they all. They tried everything that they could, and ultimately they just didn't have enough. Harden had a better game than 1 and 2 that he came back, but he missed a lot of spot up threes, a lot of wide open threes. But he did get 9 rebounds and 9 assists, so he impacted the game to the best of his ability. Joe Harris had a couple threes, but he had one big wide open three that probably would have helped Brooklyn seal the game, but he missed it. But Blake Griffin was huge, making threes, playing defense, getting 11 rebounds. Bruce Brown got a couple loose rebounds in the fourth, but they couldn't convert them into baskets. I think Brook Lopez had a great game, rebounding the ball, blocking Kevin Durant a couple times, and even hitting threes and getting offensive rebounds and putting the ball back in the basket. Giannis was able to make a couple free throws in a row, which helped. He made the push shot to give them their first bucket. Middleton was huge, hitting mid-range, hitting contested shots, while also hitting a game-winning fadeaway that gave them the 2-point lead. And then obviously, Brook Lopez was able to make those free throws to give them 2 more points when it was zero point 0.3 seconds. Also, you got to give credit to this team staying together. PJ Tucker hit some shots. He had a bad miss, but he did hit a couple shots and played great defense for the most part, even though he got a lot of dumb fouls for trying to do too much. But he fouled out, used all of them, and he was gone. But the Bucks still was able to finish off the game without him. Drew Holiday really made the momentum swing, hitting the mid-range, hitting the threes that he hit. He really needed to have a strong game, and he picked the right time to show up. I feel like that last shot on Kevin Durant was tough. Kevin Durant took too many dribbles, had to force up a shot because Drew Holiday made him, get out of his sweet spot in his comfort zone, took up all his airspace, and basically forced Kevin Durant to shoot above over the top of him. And it was just a tough shot for him to hit, and he airballed it, and that was pretty much game. So you have to give credit to Drew Holiday for staying close to him, for making him pick up his dribble and take a tougher shot than it had to be. But Kevin Durant, you think that he can get any shot, that he won't get to the spots whenever he wanted. It seemed like he settled. It seemed like he really didn't want to take that one. And you have to give credit to Drew Holiday for putting him in that type of mentality and, making him settle for that type of shot. Even though he hit one prior, that's a shot that you will live with, even if it's Kevin Durant. And it really did help them win that game. I also think that the Bucks really was tested. They had a lead, and it looked like the Bucks was going to be done. The free throws was going in Brooklyn's favor. They couldn't really make a shot, but the free throws kept them in. The free throws helped them continue to build the lead. Even in OT, it looked like Brooklyn kept getting the offensive rebounds, kept hustling, but they just couldn't score at all outside of the points that gave them the lead by 2. And if they just made 2 shots, they will be moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals, but it just didn't happen. This is a situation where you would have loved to have Kyrie Irving out there with James Harden and Kevin Durant, but he wasn't there, and they really couldn't get a shot to go in. And you got to give credit to the Bucks defense, but also they missed some easy ones, some open ones that they needed to make if they wanted to win, and they just couldn't do it. And it's part of the game. Shots go in, they go in. If they don't, you got to go out there and play defense and stop your opponent from scoring. Brooklyn did that for majority of the OT period, but didn't do it enough as the Bucks was able to rely on their stars to lead them to victory, and they was able to get it done. Also, you do have to give credit to how slow this game was. Wasn't a lot of transition, wasn't a lot of easy buckets that was made. A lot of these shots was forced, or they really had to take what the defense gave them, and that's what you want as your game plan. You want guys like Blake Griffin and stuff taking these type of shots, and they took them. They was able to make enough of them to win majority of the game, but ultimately Blake Griffin fouled out, and that made it even harder for them to score. This is a game that you wish Kevin Durant would have just took this overtime over and secured them the W, but he didn't even score, honestly, and you just can't have that happen when you're in a game 7. This is a game where you have to literally take this game and put the Bucks away, because the Bucks struggled to score for majority of the OT period. And like I said, if the Nets made one or two shots outside of the one that they made early, they win this game. But nobody could put it in, and Kevin Durant didn't put them away, and it gave the Bucks hope. It gave the Bucks a chance. They took advantage of it, and they ultimately got the job done. You have to give credit to the Bucks for staying with it, staying in it, defending, scrapping, fighting, and getting a dogfight W. And even though I thought the Bucks should win the last 2 games, even though I thought the Bucks should win this series once Kyrie and them went down, they got it done. Like I said, they still have to get it done. We can think they favorites. We can think they're the better team. We can think that they should win. They still have to get it done. And even though this game looked like Brooklyn was going to win it, the way it was going and the way how many free throws they shot, um, the Bucks still stayed with it and got it done. So it's going to be interesting to see who the Bucks play, the Hawks or the Sixers, because the style is going to be similar. Teams that shoot a lot of threes, guys that create a lot of their offense, and the Bucks are going to have to defend and make shots and make plays for 48 minutes. And we're just going to see if they can do that enough, to be Eastern Conference champions for the first time under Mike Budenholzer, also with Middleton and Giannis as their duo. And, they got it done. But I will say this was an ugly one. I will say this is a game that you really don't know who was going to win, just because the teams just couldn't stay hot enough. The teams just couldn't score enough, when it mattered most. And it really was a slow rock fight. This was an 80s game, a 90s game, where it was a lot of physicality, a lot of touching, a lot of falling, a lot of grabbing loose balls, fighting for rebounds, fighting just for a possession, fighting just for a basket. And it was just crazy to watch. It wasn't the greatest game. I'm not saying it's one of the greatest games I've ever seen. I'm not saying it was one of the best playoff games this year, but it was just a game that whoever was stronger, whoever wanted it more, and whoever was going to have the will to just find a way to get this W was going to win the game, and it ended up being the Bucks. And a lot of people thought if Brooklyn can get it close, if Brooklyn can slow it down, Kevin Durant will be enough to get them the W, and it just didn't happen tonight. That's the way it should happen, especially with Brooklyn being at home for a game 7. But ultimately, it didn't happen, and the Bucks are moving on to the conference finals. And you know, Pat Connaughton also hit some big threes when it looked like the Nets can pull away. Connaughton was able to hit some of those threes to really, bring them back in. Same with Middleton, same with Holiday, and Giannis. He stayed focused. He kept coming, he kept attacking throughout the entire game, and ultimately, that's the mentality he's gonna have for the rest of the series if they want to bring home the first championship since the '70s. And a lot of people still look at this Bucks team as a dangerous team. A lot of people look at this Bucks team as a team that can come out the East and win it all. We would just have to see if their offense is good enough to really make up for the spurts and the droughts that they go on. And, this team is still trying to figure things out, too, of how they play and what they should and shouldn't do. And Holiday and Middleton is going to have to score more consistently against the better teams as they continue to go further and further in the playoffs. And if they can up their perimeter shooting, and if they can be more better to 3-point shooting throughout the entire series, this Bucks team can be a champion. They defend well enough. They got a lot of lineups they can throw out of there, and they got two guys that can get their own shot whenever they want. And they got Drew Holiday that can really defend and really can attack, but they're going to have to continue to do it as a team, and they're going to have to shoot better from 3 for an entire series if they want to beat the teams that come out the West and the teams that they fight in the conference finals. Keep the head up, keep grinding, keep attacking, and, stick to what got you there, but also know that it only gets tougher from here, and you got it done. So relax, celebrate, get back to work, and see what happens. In this next series that we'll find out on Sunday who they be playing. Other than that, tell me, should Brooklyn won? Did the right team win? Is you happy that the Bucks won? Do you think they can beat the Sixers? Do you think they can beat the Hawks? Who would you rather them play, the Sixers or the Hawks? And are you just happy that the Bucks are actually going back to the conference finals? The last time they got there, they played the Raptors. They went up 2-0 and lost 4 in a row to that Raptors team. Um, Maybe this is a different team. Maybe they got a different attitude. Maybe they learned from their mistakes and they passed, and they were just battle tested by the Nets, who gave them their all and made it ugly. And they just gonna have to play a little bit better if they want to come out this East. It's possible. It's reality. It's right in front of them. They gotta take it and get it done. And if they do that, they can be back in the finals with a chance to bring home the championship. This is why you pay Middleton. This is why you pay Giannis. This is why you make the PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday trades and all the free agent moves is to go all in to win that with Larry O'Brien. They almost there. Let's just see if they get it done. I'll be back tomorrow with my playoff reaction and my playoff predictions of whoever the Bucks play. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.